Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This video is going to be all about my 2021 favorites. I'm going to be telling you if they're still favorite or if they have fallen off, if they have been replaced, if maybe even I decluttered them. And I have to be honest with you, I decluttered some of my 2021 favorites. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how I could be so wrong, but we're gonna chat about it, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna tell you which things are still good, are still holding up according to me, and some things, there are just some things that came out in 2022 that were so amazing that they totally replaced what I have here in front of me. But of course, I'm not gonna tell you that yet. Today, this video is going to be all about the 2021 faves. So let's get into it. So I have a lot of makeup here in front of me, so we're just going to quickly go into it. I just grabbed the list so I won't forget anything. By the way, the look I'm wearing today is with the new Nimya eyeshadow palette by Nikki Tutorials brand. So if you want to know how I got this will probably already be up. I think I will post that before I post this video. Okay, first up we have the Soul Body Face and Body Bronzing Balm in Light, and I have to say I still think this is a good product, but so many beautiful bronzers and cream bronzers came out this past year that I can't say anymore that this is my ultimate favorite, that this is my absolute best top one cream bronzer. Last year, the year of 2021, I really got into creams, and to be honest, this is a good one to start with. It's really easy to use. It is so easy to apply. It always looks good, always looks blended, but it is very, very warm toned. You can see there's a big dent in it. I use it a lot and I still use it a lot, but it is very warm toned. It's not my perfect shade. I am pretty fair to light, depends on the time of year, with a neutral to cool undertone. So this is not my perfect undertone. I already knew that, and I think I already said that in my 2021 favorites video. The formula is amazing. The undertone was just a little bit off. So I still use it, but it's not my perfect everyday cream bronzer. And there are just some formulas and some shades, some cream bronzers that have been released this past year that I'm gonna talk about in my 2022 favorites that are just amazing. So this one is not one where I'm like, I didn't know any better, because it's still good, but there are just some things that are that good that I can't say that this is in my top 3. Maybe it's just in my top 3, but I have discovered some bronzers. Stay tuned for my favorites video, because I have discovered some amazing bronzers. Then we have the Catrice Holiday Skin Luminous Bronzer. I have 2 shades, and I actually used the one in 010 today. This one is a little bit deep for me, 020, but this Holiday Skin Bronzer is still a huge favorite. I think this might be my favorite powder bronzer because it's so easy to use. I love the undertone. Is it still my favorite powder bronzer? I think it probably is. Favorite single powder bronzer, because it is so easy to use. It looks so natural on the skin, kind of creamy, and I just love the undertone of this one. It is amazing for my skin tone. I think that this is an amazing bronzer, very affordable, but I quite like the packaging. It's nice and sturdy. I haven't had any problems with it. It is just, I don't have any complaints about it. It is just so creamy, so nice. It has this natural sheen to it. There's no glitter, glimmer. If you like a matte bronzer, but kind of in a natural way, then this is a really nice one. I really still love these. I stand by this being a 2021 favorite. So good. Then I had the Pink Dune and Peach Dune Dior highlighters from their summer limited edition, where they put them. So these are baked gelée highlighters from the Dior limited edition they did. This one is Pink Dune, and I also got the shade Peach Dune. So that is this one. I still think these are really beautiful highlighters. I have to say, I have not used them as much as I would want to with such an expensive product, and a product that is a favorite and that is so beautiful. I don't know why I don't reach for these that much, why I don't reach for them enough, but they're still amazing. And if you see these somewhere, or you see something similar somewhere, Dior does do a very beautiful baked gelée formula. I have to say there's another baked gelée formula that I've used more this year that I've gotten really into. That was something with those shades and just with the whole vibe of those highlighters, it just was a bit easier for me to wear. I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit scared to use these Dior highlighters because they're more expensive. I don't want to use them up, I don't want to ruin them. But I think that's not a good way to go about it. It's better to just use the things that you buy. So I think it's time to really dive into these a little bit more. I think I should really use them a bit more. Then we have, I have everything almost like hidden away, so I'm every time I'm like looking for where did I put everything. Then I have the Kiko Fruit Explosion highlighter, glowing highlighter in 02 Coral Sunset. This is still a favorite. It's still amazing. It's more of a like blush topper, almost like a glowy blush. I can't use it totally as a highlighter because it's a little bit deep for that, but it doesn't stop me. I still think this is a beautiful formula. It is a color that I can't really seem to find anywhere else. Not that I'm really looking for it, but it's just an interesting shade that is very different from my collection. But this just has this very beautiful sheen, glass-like, very glowy, still looks natural. I love this highlighter formula. And I also got another shade. I don't know if I got that after the favorites video, but I got another shade in this one. I don't think this is still available, but it's such an amazing highlighter. But Kiko just does highlighters so well, and this shade, like the combination of the Kiko highlighter formula and then that shade, which is so nice and warm and glowy. I am still really excited for that highlighter and I still reach for it. Then the Tinkerbell Super Shock Cheek in Happy Thoughts. So this was my first real encounter with Super Shock highlighters. A few years ago I had the, what was it, highlighter that everyone had? It was so cool tone, so blinding. I don't remember the name of the highlighter, but I had that highlighter and I hated it on myself. I felt like it accentuated texture while I was still so young and it didn't have any texture. Like, you can be young and have texture, but I didn't have any and it still looked so weird on my skin, so I didn't like it. And then I tried this highlighter and I thought it looks amazing. I still use it. I still think it looks amazing. I think it's such a beautiful highlighter. I love this type of shade. It's kind of like a warm mauve, like champagne mauve. I'm really into that. So yeah, I still like it a lot. I still use it. Like, maybe not every month, but I've had a little bit of a weird makeup year. I've been wearing a lot of makeup, but I have reached for this. I've deliberately reached for this. I've really thought, you know what, I have to use that Super Shock highlighter again, and I did. Because I was just like, it is so good. I have to keep using that one. So yeah, still a favorite. Next up we have the Dolce Diva Glam Cushion Highlighter. So this was the first time that Kiko Milano did that kind of Charlotte Tilbury dupe glam cushiony highlighter thingy. The formula is definitely still a favorite. But I feel like this particular shade, this is the shade 02. It's kind of like the rose goldy shade. It has been replaced in my life, in my heart. I still really like the Glam Cushion highlighter formula that Kiko has. And they did it again this year. And there's just another shade that they came out with that is my perfect shade. It is so different from anything else. And that just made me love this formula even more. So even though I still like this particular product, this one is not my top favorite anymore. There's another one, but it's nothing against the formula. It's just that this shade has been replaced as my favorite. Next up we have the Kiko Charming Escape Silky Blush in Tasty Peach, and it's still a fave. I still use it. I actually bought another shade in Rose Garden, I think. This is just such a beautiful bright peach, quite warm peach, kind of corally. I love this formula. It is so perfecting on the skin. It looks amazing. It is glowy without being glittery or glimmery. It just looks gorgeous and it really makes your cheeks look amazing. And I still think that, and I still reach for it, and I think it is an amazing blush. Such a good blush. Still one of my favorite blush formulas, and I wish that Kiko still sold it. Maybe they do. Maybe they still sell it, but I just don't know. But I'm happy with the two shades that I have, and I still use them quite often. Then 2021 was the year that I discovered Oden's Eye, and I discovered their blushes. And Waterlily is actually my absolute favorite. I also mentioned Little Jasmin, but to be honest, I was a little bit like unsure if it was still a favorite, if I still wanted to keep it, if you've seen my blush declutter, because Little Jasmin is just a little bit on the warm side for me. It's just a bit much for me, my skin tone, but I still kept it and I still think it has a place in my collection. But the actual favorite, the one that it's all about for me, is the shade Waterlily, because it's kind of like in between warm and cool. It's kind of like coral, but also kind of like mauve, and it just looks very sun-kissed, very sunburned. It looks nice and glowy. It has this nice amount of pigment that really, once again, perfects the skin. It's a type of blush that I really like. So this is actually my absolute favorite. This is maybe my #1 blush in my collection, at least top 3, probably #1. This is such a good blush if you want a shade that is very like that sunburned blush look that has been pretty like trendy, and this is amazing for that. Little Jasmin, I think I shouldn't have mentioned this particular shade because it's not the perfect shade, even though I really love the formula. Like, this Waterlily is what it's all about. It is the true favorite of Oden's Eye. I have a feeling that they discontinued these blushes, and I think it is so sad. I haven't tried the new blushes because I have way too many blushes, and I was like, don't do it. Don't buy more. It has been enough. So I haven't tried the new ones, but I'm a bit sad that they discontinued these. I understand that they have to do some new things. They have to keep evolving and improving. But I really love these, and I'm gonna use them till the very end, till these blushes totally fall apart and they're just a bit of dust in a pan. I still love these, and I think I'm gonna love these for a really long time. Alright, then we have the Cheek Lover Oil-infused blush by Catrice. I feel like I've had this for way longer than 2021 because I've used this so much already, and because this is such a favorite, it feels like such a staple in my collection. It feels like so natural for it to be there in my drawer. I feel like this sounds very dramatic. I am getting into like dramatic mode, but that's really how I feel when I look at this. This feels like we've been friends forever. It's like you talk to someone for the first time and they totally get you and they totally know what you mean, and you crack some jokes and they know what you're talking about, and suddenly you're friends, you're best buds. That is me with this blush. It is such a good blush. So glowy without being glittery. It looks so natural. It is just a perfect coral to gold duochrome blush. I don't need anything else like this in my life. I know it's been done before, but this is just the perfect one. It is amazing. It is gorgeous. I have used this so many times. It just makes your skin look amazing. It doesn't make it look weird. It doesn't make it look blotchy. Sometimes like shades like this can do that when they're really glowy. They can look a little bit weird, but this is just such an effortless blush. So nice and glowy. I love the baked formula. This one is still one of my all-time favorite blushes. It is so good. I mean, it is like €5 and it's one of the best blushes ever. It is, if you're looking for a coral blush, if you love a glowy blush, it is still like, I think my top 3. Is it my top 3? Probably. I've used it so much. Alright, another blush that I'm actually wearing today is the MAC Black Cherry blush in Room to Bloom. I still use this a ton. And you can really tell I've used it a bunch. There's quite some wear on it. This is just such an easy blush to wear. I love this shade. I just love, it's kind of cool but also kind of warm, and it just always looks good. It is this very wearable kind of sheen, very like sheeny in a way that looks natural. It doesn't look like you have glitter on your face. It doesn't look like, wow, that person is wearing a glowy blush. It just looks like you have really good skin and you just have a really nice and glowy natural cheek going on. This is just still such a favorite. I'm really getting excited again for all the products, and I really want to use this again, even though I've used it quite a bit these past few months. Like, since I did my declutters, since I did my blush declutter, I've really been going into my blush drawer and using a bunch of different blushes, and this is one of the ones that I've really been going for. It is still so good. I don't think it's still available, but this is a formula that just exists in the permanent line by MAC. I haven't tried permanent blushes in this formula because I just love this one so much. I don't think there's gonna be another shade like this. I just accept this to be the one shade in that formula for me, which I usually don't do. Usually I end up buying more and more if I like formula, but with this one I'm like, it's good like this. It's right like this. This is what it's supposed to be. So yeah, Room to Bloom, it's still a huge favorite. I feel like these might be my top 3 blushes. Is there anything that has topped this in this year? There might not be, but I have to come back to that in my 2022 favorites video. I feel like this is very interesting to see how the products from 2021 still hold up against some of 2022. But this 3-in-1 All Over Stick in 04 from the Mood Boost collection, I have used this so many times. It is so easy to use. It is the perfect mauve pinky shade. It looks amazing. It just makes my cheeks look the best they've ever looked. It is the perfect shade, perfect formula, perfect everything, and it just blends on top of anything. It doesn't matter. I do have to say I never wear foundation. It's not really something I'm personally into, so I can never tell you with cream products if they lift up the foundation, but I can tell you when it lifts up the bronzer. Sometimes that happens. So this has never lifted up anything underneath. It had always been so easy to blend out, so easy to use. It is an effortless cream product. This is amazing. These stick cream products by Kiko are one of my favorite cream products out there. They have this in their regular line. They even have more product. They're cheaper, have more product. You can go years and years and years with those cream sticks, I'm sure, because there's much more in it than this little stick. See this as a sign to go and check out the Kiko cream sticks. They are amazing. This is not available anymore, but you can find something like this. You can find something like this, and it's just the best. It's just the best. I get so excited using this one. I just love how easy this is, because some cream products are just not as easy, but this, I don't have to think about it. I can just apply it over top of anything. I never have to think about, okay, I'm using that blush today. I never have to do that. And one where I feel like I have to think a little bit more is the Glowgasm Beauty Lightwand. And what was this one? What was this one? It doesn't say the shade. This is the one in Pinkgasm, of course. So I feel like with this one I have to think a little bit more. I've used it quite a bit, but I have to think a little bit more. It doesn't always look good. I feel like there's a balance. There is a precarious situation going on when I apply this, because sometimes it can just get too metallic, it can get too much, and it just doesn't work out the way I want to. It's not like the Kiko where I can do whatever I want. Just blend it a little bit, just do something. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be like very focused on what is going on. It will always work out. I don't feel like this with the Beauty Lightwand. It's a beautiful product once it's on, but once you apply too much, it's just a mess. And that's how I feel. So it is still a favorite, but it's not a hassle-free favorite, and that is why this is not gonna be in my top 3 blushes. That is why the Kiko is in the top 3 and this one isn't. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I understand the hype, but I feel like there's a right time and place to reach for this one. And because of that, it's kind of like I kind of forgot about it. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. I feel like I have to get back into it. But I do know the reason why I love using these other cream products more than this one. It's just a bit of a difficult one sometimes. Even though once it's on, it is gorgeous, and that's why I put it in. It's not a beginner-friendly cream product in my opinion. Then we have the Kiko Milano A Holiday Fable Radiant Blush and Highlight Duo Pink and Champagne. To be honest, at this point, I don't really understand why I put that one in. I feel like I don't remember. I don't remember what happened, but I actually decluttered it because I felt like even though it was quite nice and pretty, it was a bit too thin, and it was not perfecting or anything. It just looked a little bit thin, and because of that, maybe a little bit like you were sweaty rather than wearing a beautiful glowy blush. So in the end, after using it quite a bit, like really using it, I decided that it was not the perfect cream blush. But I think what has happened this year is that I've really gotten to know, I really found out what kind of cream products I like. What kind of cream products are really better than the rest. And I feel like this one was good last year. This one was good for someone who hadn't tried that many cream products yet, and it was quite a nice product, but at this point it just wasn't something that I was gonna reach for over other things that I really love, like some of the blushes that I just showed you. So I feel like it was good back then, but now I feel really confident in my decision to declutter it. I just feel like it was the time, it wasn't holding up anymore. And I feel like it was mostly the excitement of it being new and of it being kind of like a Charlotte Tilbury dupe, like the Beauty Lightwand dupe, even though it had like totally different like packaging and look and feel and formula, but in the end it looked on the cheeks a little bit like the Beauty Lightwand and Glowgasm. So because of that I was kind of excited about it, but in the end it wasn't holding up in my collection and I decided to declutter it. So yeah, pretty shocking. But I feel I've really gone through a lot with cream products. I've really found out what was going on in the makeup community, like in the makeup world when it comes to cream products and which ones are actually good. So I've changed my mind a little bit about that. There are quite a lot of favorites. I'm gonna try and speed it up a little bit. So the Oden's Eye Cream Lip Stain, still one of my favorite lipsticks in my collection. It's amazing, it's beautiful lip product, very glowy, very shiny. It smells amazing, still really love it. Then the Catrice Clean ID Ultra High Shine Lipstick Make It Nuder, still a good shiny lipstick. I've used it a bit less this year, but in like overall I've used it quite a bit. It just doesn't smell the absolute best, and I have really been into good smelling lip products this year. But it's still a good one. I would still recommend it. I don't think it's available anymore, but it was a nice lip product. It was a nice lip product. Is it like my absolute favorite still? Don't know about that because I have some really nice glowy shiny lipsticks in my collection and some nice glosses, but I don't think I've really replaced it. I just haven't used it as much, even though it's a pretty good product. It's a nice lipstick. I still think it's good, but I'm not as excited about that one as some other things that I'm showing in this video. So a lip product that I am still very excited about is the Kiko Milano Charming Escape Luxurious Shiny Lipstick. And this is just because it looks very beautiful, like the whole vibe, the whole packaging. It's just amazing. It is also just such a nice product. Opening it, applying it, it smells really perfumey. So it's not like the scent is much better than the Catrice, but the whole vibe and just this whole experience is a lot better. And when I see this in my drawer, I'm just really excited, and I really love the shade and the formula. Everything about it I love. I also really like this formula and shade, but this feels like the total package, and this is something I still go back to and still think about. I do like a good packaging. I do like good vibes when it comes to makeup. Then we have the Maybelline Brow Drama 12 Hour Sculpting Brow Mascara. I feel like this is just a little bit too weak for my brows. In the end, I did feel like my brows fell down a little bit. It was fine. It was a pretty good brow mascara, and at the time it was the best one that I had. It was all I had. But now I have another one. By the way, I'm not going to show you because it's going to be in my 2022 favorites. I have a new one now that I like way better, that just really holds up, that really adds the definition, and they stay put. And comparing it, I just feel like this was a little bit too soft. I put it in the favorites because it was the best thing I had at that point, so in a way it was a favorite, but I kind of knew that I was gonna have to find something better. In the end, I feel like I could have been a little bit more picky with some favorites. I feel like this didn't belong in that video, like looking back, but I feel like the longer you are on YouTube, the longer you're reviewing makeup, you get a little bit stricter, you have more things to compare, and your views on makeup, they just change a bit. Then we have the Nabla Cupid's Arrow number 7. Still really like it. I haven't used it as much this year, but I have been using less makeup, but I recently used it again. I still thought it was really nice. It is a great product. It is very smoky, very pigmented, easy to blend out. It is just it's very nice. This is like my favorite like jumbo pencil. It really works well. It does what I wanted to do. Last year I was using this like a bunch, like every week, sometimes multiple times a week. That is not the case anymore, but it's still a really good product. Okay, so I've talked about everything except for the eyeshadow palettes that I put in my 2021 favorites, but honestly, it's a little bit too late. It has gotten a little bit too late and I have to go to bed soon. So I'm gonna film that part tomorrow. So you're gonna see me in a little bit with different like makeup and everything. And I'm gonna tell you about the palettes. Okay, so usually I do not cut up my videos into like this and film a portion on the next day. But I realized that I have so many beautiful eyeshadow palettes here and I didn't want to rush through them. I wanted to give them as much of a spotlight as the other products. So I have some palettes left to show you, and I also realized that I forgot one of the blushes. So what I almost forgot was the Fruit Explosion Juicy Blush. I believe I have not told you about this one. I got the shade in 03. In my video, I said that 02 and 03 were my favorites, and these were really nice first liquid blushes for me. It was a really nice getting to know liquid and cream products. I was really excited about these. They were my first creamish, liquidish cheek products, and they worked very well for that, and that is why I was so excited about them. They really got me into creams. But then I tried so many more cream blushes, I tried so many more liquid blushes, and I realized that this was not my perfect formula. Even though it's still a good formula, I still really like it. It is not as easy to use as some other cream products, and that is why I actually decluttered a 02, because it was a pretty basic mauve shade and I didn't feel like I needed two in this formula. That is not my perfect formula anymore. I thought the 03 shade was just such a nice shade. It's very like a strawberry corally shade, very cute. Even if it's a little bit more work to blend this out than some other products, I think it's worth it because of the shade. So I still think it is a nice blush. I still use it, I still like it, but I thought I didn't need two. So I have to be honest with you, I haven't used it a bunch, but I definitely didn't need two. One was just enough, and I just kept the shade that I liked the most. And then it is time for the eyeshadow palettes. First up we have the Dead Stop eyeshadow palette by Colourpop. This is still a favorite. I still really like it. It's a beautiful cool tone palette. I have used it. I think last week I used it and I just keep using it. I keep reaching for it because it's so easy for me to go into. It is such a nice everyday palette, just very easy to use, and colors that I don't easily have anywhere else in my collection. They are pretty unique shades and I feel like they are just very flattering, just a very nice type of taupe. So that is why I keep reaching for that palette. Then another eyeshadow palette that is also still a favorite, the Juvia's Place Blush Rose. I still use it. I love the color story. I love all the shades in here, the dimension in here, this sparkly shade. So amazing. I love these tones and I love to wear these in the spring and summer. So this is still a very nice palette, still would highly recommend it. I still really love it. One of my favorite pink palettes. Next up we have the Kiko Milano Mood Boost Matte for Color eyeshadow palette. This is a great eyeshadow palette. The mattes in here are great, the shimmers in here are great. I really love using it. I have to say I have not used it, I think recently, maybe in the past year. I think I already told you in this video. I try to remind you with these videos. For quite some time this year I did not wear any eyeshadow, so I am not gonna fault this eyeshadow palette. I think if I would have been more into makeup this year, I probably would have reached for it because it's still great and I still get excited to use it. I love the shades in there. Then we have the Norns eyeshadow palette. I really still love this. Still one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes in my collection. Some of these shimmers are just amazing. Some of my favorites in my collection. Now that I'm getting more inspired to do more colorful looks, and now that I'm getting more into makeup, I actually was thinking about getting back into this palette, doing some more looks with it, because there's just so much you can do with it. I really think this is an amazing palette still. Would still recommend it. Their sale has just ended, sadly. At the time I'm filming this, probably once you see this, it has ended like weeks ago. But yeah, otherwise I would have told you to grab this on the sale, on the Black Friday sale. But yeah, still a great one. Still a lovely palette. Then we have the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist Club Nebula palette. This is such an amazing palette. I do have to say, with my makeup style right now, it's a little bit out there, but I have been thinking about looks I want to do with it, because you can go a little bit more subtle, it can go a little bit more subdued, but you can also just experiment and go all out and do all of the colors. So I've been thinking about going back into this because the quality is just amazing. It's top notch, and just the whole vibe of this palette is the best, and I think I will never get over how amazing this is. I don't think I'm ever gonna declutter this in my life. Next up we have the Glamlight Ice Cream Dream eyeshadow palette. This one I could not stop talking about in 2021, and I still really love it. I have to say I've done some neutral-ish looks with it, but I definitely have to use it a little bit more. As with these other palettes, I have neglected it a little bit, and I feel a little bit bad about it, but it's not the fault of the palette. I think it is still an amazing palette. I just love the shimmers in here, love the mattes. It just works really well. It's just a very cute palette. Ooh, I really like it still. Then we have the Kiko Milano, a Holiday Fable Ethereal Eyeshadow Palette in Surreal Destination. Once again, I have not used it that much this year, but I still think this is an amazing formula. I have not changed my mind about it. It is just so sophisticated, so sparkly, so beautiful. And these are shades that are very easy to pop on a look, like add to a look, because they're kind of neutral but also a little bit interesting. I really like this palette still. I don't think it's still available, but this is the best shimmer formula that Kiko Milano has done according to me, and I've tried quite some eyeshadow palettes by them, but this was amazing. I stand by that, an amazing eyeshadow palette. Then the last one we have here is the Giant Wolves eyeshadow palette by Oden's Eye and Annette's Makeup Corner, and this is still one of my faves in my collection. It is just the perfect fall, kind of grungy but also kind of wintry bright eyeshadow palette. The color story of this one inspires me so much, and all of the looks that I have done with this I loved so much. Sometimes I will like look back and see a photo of me with a look with this palette and I'll be like so in love with it. I think the main thing that stands out in this palette for me is this shade over here. Like, this purpley pink is amazing. It is my favorite matte I think in my collection. It's just the perfect shade, and it just works so well. This whole eyeshadow palette, this whole vibe, I love it. I think it is amazing still. It is no longer available, sadly. I feel like Oden's Eye does their best palettes, like limited edition. If you see any limited editions by Oden's Eye, they're good. They do some good things when they do the limited editions and when they do their collaborations. It is worth checking out. It is worth thinking about if you might want to snag it, because yeah, they do a great job. That is actually gonna be everything for this video. We are through it. In the end, that didn't take that long, but I felt refreshed and ready to talk about these eyeshadow palettes. Okay, that is gonna be everything for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and let me know if you have changed your mind about your 2021 favorites. Is there anything that you loved but then kind of forgot about? I would love to know, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.